Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the Grayscale Trust's Bitcoin and talk a little bit about the meme stocks. So with that being said, let's get it. All right, so I'm actually going to do this in reverse order. I'm going to talk about the meme stocks first, and then we're going to go into Bitcoin, and then we're going to go into the Grayscale Trust. You guys are probably like, what the hell? What are you doing? Stop that. I mean, look, it'll make sense in a minute. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right. So I want to point out here that the last time that the meme stocks popped off to the moon was right around the time that Bitcoin went to all-time highs, okay? So I've showed you guys countless times, okay? Bitcoin went to all-time highs last cycle in December of 2020. When did GME go to all-time highs? In January of 2021. It had just kept, well, I can't say for sure that's all-time highs because maybe it's not. So yeah, I don't know how far back this chart goes. So it actually officially went to all-time highs at looks like about $16. So let's see on the charts where that was. So yeah, in January of 2021, a month after Bitcoin hit new all-time highs, GME went to the moon. Okay. And it topped out in basically pretty much a month after Bitcoin went to all-time highs. So do keep this in mind, okay? There is a correlation between the meme stocks, and again, I'm just talking about GME and AMC here. There could be like 10 other meme stocks that I don't know about. There is major correlation, at least in the last cycle anyways, between the meme stocks and Bitcoin, okay? I want to point this out. And the crypto bull run. So AMC, this one did not pop off until sometime later. It did have this huge, I mean, this is not small by any means. This is a massive green candle. Did nearly a 10x. Pretty much the same time GME was going up, which again is a month after Bitcoin hit new all-time highs, which, as you guys know, Bitcoin is pretty much at all-time highs again right now as we speak. I'll get into that in a minute. But then roughly about 3-4 months later, this thing just absolutely smashed to the upside. So the expectation with GME is it's probably going to go back to all-time highs. Again, I would not be even a little bit surprised if that happened. My expectations for GME are that I think it's likely it could go probably somewhere back into the, I would say probably about the 60s to maybe even as high as the 90s. I don't see any reason why that's not possible. And in terms of AMC, my expectations for AMC, and I'll get into the Fed and how this ties into all this here in a minute, because I am going to speak a little bit about the Fed. So my expectation for AMC is that it's going to at least $40. Okay, so there's some gaps here. Again, you can only see this gap here on the weekly, but there is also a gap on the daily time frame as well. That's that 1650 to 1950. We haven't talked about this one in a while. I'm aware of that, but I did just want to show you guys this. The 41 also pops up on the daily as well. So you can see this big gap here right around 16 to 20. Another big gap around 36.50 to 43. Again, what have we been telling you guys for eons at this point? Gaps love to get filled, okay? It's like almost always that a gap gets filled. It's like some 95 to 98% probability that pretty much almost every gap you ever see is going to get filled at some point. So again, if these gaps were gap downs, then that means the stock has to, in theory, go back up and fill these gaps, which means it probably is going to go back up, okay? And there is the correlation between the meme stocks and Bitcoin and the crypto bull run. Now, the piece I want to tie into here about the Fed is that the Fed has to cut rates, okay? They cannot keep the rates high forever. They've already begun cutting rates as of last month. They're probably going to keep cutting rates because, as far as I know, throughout history, every single time that they've ever cut rates ever in the existence of the Fed since like the 1910s or something like that, they have never started cutting rates and they just stopped cutting. It's never happened as far as I know. There has been times where they've had to cut rates and then raise rates and then cut rates and raise rates. As you guys know, like I think it was the 1970s or the 1980s, something like that, where they had to do that. A lot of people are worried about a resurgence of inflation. In my opinion, that's not going to happen. Okay. But I want to say this, okay? The Fed cutting rates by itself, by default, even if they're not actually printing money, will benefit these meme stocks, okay? And the Fed cutting rates by itself, even if they're not actually printing money, i.e., adding assets to their balance sheet, by itself is by default technically printing money because, again, they make the cost of borrowing cheaper for both businesses and individuals, which is very good for the meme stocks. All right, so enough of that. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. Okay, so going over here to the daily chart, I want to show you guys the last green candle close we had was at 70 to almost 73,000, so about 72,800, 72,900, somewhere in there. So I need you guys to understand how significant this is, okay? So the last candle close that we got on the daily time frame, okay? Daily time frame. That was this close where the body closed at 72,800 or greater was in the last actual peak in March of this year, okay? So I have told you guys for eons at this point, and I showed you guys the chart on X, okay, of these Bitcoin whales, whether they're institutions or whales or individuals or hedge funds or who knows what, who cares, right? Governments, whatever. The bottom line is people with millions and billions of dollars. These guys have been buying these dips in this whole area right here at record rates. And I told you guys, if they're going to accumulate up here in this pullback in time, they're not going short, okay? They're going long. You can't buy the dip and go short simultaneously. It's not possible. Look, you guys know this. When you place orders in the market, okay, you have a buy order and you have a sell order. In order to buy the dip in a pullback in time, you have to hit the buy button. You can't hit the sell button, okay? And you're not going to be selling down here. You're going to be selling up here, okay? Because, again, this is a range. The way that traders trade ranges, they sell at the top of the range and they buy at the bottom of the range. They're not going to be selling at the bottom of the range, okay? Unless there's a confirmed breakdown, which we didn't see. And, again, I told you guys based on countless data sets that likely this was a pullback in time. It was not going to sell off, okay? And again, you don't ever see a bull flag or a descending triangle or a cup and handle pattern that breaks to the downside. I've never seen one. I mean, maybe there's a 5% probability that it could happen, but it's not happening in this case, okay? So Bitcoin's pushing against all-time highs. I think it's probably going to be at all-time highs within a week or two. Maybe not even that long. Okay, maybe tomorrow it could be at all-time highs. We don't know. Or by the time you guys see this video, it would technically be tomorrow. But you guys get my point. So as this thing rips, the window to accumulate, once again, I will say this, is closing. Okay? All right, so a lot of green here on the the trust. As you guys can see, we got that golden cross and immediately got a pop to the upside. So nice big green day for a lot of these. Again, this doesn't really come as a surprise to me. So support as of right now is going to be roughly kind of around that $17 area, top of this trend line here. Again, we got 3 more days to close. I'm pretty sure the trusts are going to be more green by the end of the week. Again, earnings, all the different bullish data sets we're going to have, the Fed cutting rates, the elections. The market knows all this stuff, okay? They price all this in ahead of time. So likely the markets are going to go higher. And then you got the 25 to 27, and then the 54. And of course, LTCN's all-time high is at $510, which could easily go up to and even past that if it really wanted to. So if I just give you guys the measured move from kind of the pullback area, where you're looking at about 210% gain. BCHG, and again, remember LTCN and BCHG are going to be oscillators to Bitcoin because Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin usually go up with Bitcoin. That's usually how it goes. And of course, the miners too. I will say this about the miners. The miners have already started going up, okay? They're probably going to get more explosive to the upside as soon as Bitcoin crosses that $74,000 level. As soon as that happens, boom. It's probably going to be a massive rocket ship on all these miners, okay? Again, I can't tell you guys what to do. You can do what you want with your money, but the window is closing, in my opinion, on the time to accumulate. We've already started putting additional money to work in positions knowing that likely Bitcoin and all these other crypto related products are probably going to be at all-time highs very soon. All right, so BCHG, we've already hit this resistance. It's probably going to go past it. It just, of course, you have people taking profit here. The bears are probably still bearish, even though crypto is going up. I mean, bears are always going to be bearish. It doesn't matter if the market's at all-time highs or at all-time lows. They're always going to be bearish, okay? That is just the nature of a bear, unfortunately. So if there is a pullback here, again, you got the golden cross. I'd be looking somewhere between probably about 720 to 780. The EMA should serve as pretty strong support, maybe even as low as 630. Highly doubt it. Again, the targets are anywhere from 1050 up to $20. Of course, we're pretty much sitting at 1050, and then you have 24 at the swing high. The all-time high for BCHG is 60. So again, if there is a pullback, the move here would be about a 205% gain. HZEN, this thing had a pretty massive green day here, 20%. So again, the EMAs are sitting around support. So I'll say 340 to 410 going to be about the support zone here. Targets are going to be about 7 to about $12.50. And again, the target for the top of the wedge is the top of the wedge, which is that swing high. That's right about $10.50. So maximum move here, 250% gain. ETCG, I mean, it's not confirmed on the weekly, but like I told you guys, this probably was not going to break down. I said there was a chance it could because, again, Bitcoin has to hit its all-time highs before Ethereum starts popping off. But in this case, I would rather be rich than right. So I'm glad I was wrong. So anyways, ETCG, about to get that golden cross. So again, the buy area, at least until we get the confirmation on the weekly, is still going to be roughly about $7.25 to about $10. And the immediate targets anywhere from $13.25 to about $20 in those kind of red zones up there. Okay, so about 190% on this one. ETH, still kind of sitting there at the lows. Again, we have this cup and handle, big cup and handle. I've showed you guys this cup and handle target also on gold and Bitcoin. So the target here is at 48, which is the previous market all-time high. Possible W pattern here. There is a gap that needs to be filled between roughly about 22 to 25. So the buy zone still at this point is going to be about 18.5. And then, of course, you have about 23 to 28, 29, somewhere in there. All right, so measured moves here could be as high as 155%. Again, that is not the all-time, well, 47 is actually the all-time high for ETH, but it could go much higher. Okay, Ethereum usually goes to all-time highs as well. All right, golden cross on GBAT. Support is still going to be down here between 450 to 520. Nice big green candle, 45% gain. That's definitely not small by any means. And that's in one day. Keep in mind, that's just in one day. Okay, so 780 to $10 resistance there, and then 32 is going to be the all-time highs. Again, for a lot of these altcoin, especially the alt-related grayscale trusts, not just LTCN and BCHG, but especially these ones down here, I would say all-time highs is very, very likely going to happen, okay? So 670% gain here. Again, look, the thing you guys got to keep in mind about this, okay, we have not seen a true alt season yet. These grayscale trusts hit all-time highs, even though a lot of the underlying tokens for these trusts did not go to all-time highs. Okay, they barely moved when Bitcoin went to 74,000. So if the premiums kick in here and the underlying for these go to all-time highs, the moves on these grayscale trusts could be absolutely stupid. They could even go above the macro Fibonacci retracement levels. This is possible, okay? I'm not going to say it's not. So 32 to about, I'd say about 40, 32 to 40, 45 to, or 35 to 40, somewhere in there on Phil G or File G, whatever you want to call it. $400 again is going to be the all-time high. Again, it could possibly go way past that. 1,160% gain. GLIB sitting at support very nicely. If you guys missed out on some of these other ones, this may be one to consider because, again, last time this thing popped off, it was sitting pretty much right about the same area it's at now. So support here at 12 to roughly about $15. And the all-time high is at 80. So the move here would be roughly about 565%. Again, I know the histogram has not turned green immediately. Sometimes this does happen. You probably just have to give it a few weeks and it will eventually have a golden cross. I mean, that's usually how it goes. This thing doesn't usually take weeks to get into a golden cross just to keep going down, to go sideways and then to go down like that. It could happen, but usually it doesn't happen like that. Okay, so G-Link support here, 39 to 46. Above head, 65 to 83. All-time high at 220. This is a very popular project, so it would not surprise me if it smashed past 220. All right, 486%. GSOL. Still going sideways. I mean, I consider that to be accumulation at this point because it's been such a long period of time. So 300 to 350, kind of in that pullback support. 580 at the all-time highs. Could very easily go past 580. I wouldn't be surprised. 94% gain. GXLM. Again, the buy areas here roughly about 14 to 24. Starting to get the curling up of the EMAs on the MACD. That's very bullish. Okay, so targets up here between 52 to about 70. All right, so maximum measured profit here could be about 385% gain. Mana. This one's already had the golden cross on the MACD for a couple of weeks now, so we're in week 2 as of right now. The buy zone is still down here at 10. Once the price gets above the EMAs, I will no longer consider this white line to be a buy zone. Above head, you're looking at about 17 to 20. And then the 70 is going to be the all-time high here. And again, when I say I get above the EMAs, I'm talking like an actual full candle close above it. Like it's obvious that it's a big fat green candle and likely it's not going to come back down. Okay. So 545% gain here. Last but not least, Zcash. So it looks like it might want to start moving up here soon. That's kind of how it looks to me. I mean, this candle is above the previous candles here, and you can see they're kind of slowly curling up. Regardless, the kind of buy range here is $3.25 to about $6, and then the swing high is at roughly about $10.25. So about 225%. All right, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.